The Mount Everest is also known as the roof of the world. With 8,848 meters, it is the highest mountain of the world. More than 300 people lost their life on the mountain. Most of the corpses stay up on the mountain because it is too dangerous and costly to recovering the corpses. Most of them died on the descent. The Mount Everest is located in the Himalaya mountains. The northern part of the mountain belongs to China and the southern part belongs to Nepal. Most of the climbs of Mount Everest start on the Nepalese from Kathmandu, which is located 1,400 meters above sea level. But the real ascent to the base camp of Everest begins after the flight to Lukla. From Lukla, which is located 2,860 meters above sea level, the ascent to base camp takes 5 to 6 days. The base camp is located 5,365 meters above sea level. After reaching the base camp, the body must be acclimatized. For this, on the one hand, only a few vertical meters are made during the day and, on the other hand, a certain amount of time is spent in the higher camps so that the body gets used to the high altitude. This serves to avoid altitude sickness. With this procedure, the body produces more red blood cells after a few days. Even with optimal acclimatization, performance drops by 10% per 1,500 meters. After the acclimatization process is over, the actual ascent begins with the aim of climbing Mount Everest. 4 camps serve as temporary storage for recreation and supply. Camp 1 is located at an altitude of about 5,943 meters. To get to Camp 1, the Khumbu icefall has to be crossed. This usually happens in the early morning hours, as the increasing heat of the sun increases the risk of avalanches and crashes. Nevertheless, there is still a high risk because it is a moving glacier with crevasses and towering seracs. A lot of these crevasses are only crossable with the prepared ladders. Most of the people who died on Everest have died in the icefall. After reaching Camp 1, the Western CWM, also known as the Valley of Silence, must be crossed. The Valley of Silence is fairly straightforward, but there are two principal several dangers. There are deep crevasses and also it can be very hot and very cold. Most of the crevasses are crossed on ladders, but others remain hidden by snow bridges. Due to the sun being very intense at this altitude and being reflected by the ice and snow from the surrounding high mountains as well as the glacier, temperatures can reach around plus 37 degrees Celsius. Camp 2 is located at the head of the valley at an height of 6,400 meters. The next step is the Lhotse face to get to Camp 3. The Lhotse face is 1,200 meter high, up to 80 degrees steep ice wall. To get to Camp 3 at 7,160 meters, it takes 5 to 6 hours to climb the Lhotse face. To get to the last camp, Camp 4, with an altitude of 8,000 meters, the climbers have to cross the Yellow Band and the Geneva Spur. Then the climbers will reach the death zone, Camp 4. Camp 4 is also known as the South Kernel. It is a flat area surrounded by the Everest to the north and Lhotse on the south. Staying at this level is limited to a maximum of 48 hours, the body cannot manage longer. The body consumes more O2 than it can absorb, which means that one suffers from a chronic lack of oxygen, which causes so-called altitude sickness. After a few hours of rest, the final summit push begins before midnight. After reaching the so-called balcony on 8,400 meters above sea level, the last point is the Knife Ridge, which also includes the Hillary Step. The key point is the Hillary Step. After overcome the Hillary Step, the summit is within reach. Thank you for watching this video.